in a cage, hungry hearts in a rage, glowing eyes in a daze, turning around in a hurry, hoping you will come along. I'm running as fast as I can, in a desperate need of a plan. It's the work of one little man. I'm fading out from the story. Am I a passionate man?
Well, this trip to Alamosa to the Gutted event has been very interesting. Gutted 2021. It's the first annual event for this group, the Jump, and I can tell you one thing, based on the fact that they came up with the idea, having spoke with one of the individuals behind the idea of even having this event. They came up with the idea, I believe he said in February, and it is September 11th right now. It started the 8th. It's going through tomorrow, the 12th. And with the amount of time that they've had, including having to change the venue because of concerns with the land itself, and the fact that a number of vehicles would end up being stuck coming in or going out without fail. Some have already been stuck within the campsite or coming in and going out, but nowhere near what it would have been. So they found an individual who was willing to allow them to come in and basically set up the property so that it could house this event. Now, the thing about that is this is definitely not something that I would consider regularly. I absolutely would not consider it regularly. It is BLM land. Well, actually, this is private property. The private property is where we're staying. I'm actually driving out and about, but the location where we're staying is private property, and it is not too dissimilar from the BLM land that I stayed on the night before I headed over to the event venue. It is, in fact, it reminds me a lot of Desert Storm. It reminds me a lot of the sand in the desert. This great sand dune where I'm headed right now is part of it. We are in a valley that we're surrounded completely by mountains, about 45 miles or so across. And so it is kind of in a basin, which is part of the reason why as soon as the sun goes down it gets as cold as it does. That combined with the fact that the soil is not commensurate with absorbing and maintaining or holding heat. Sand. And man, it is fine. And as cars go through, depending on the direction of the wind, you are completely coated in sand. There's no way even to, well, I guess you're sort of closing your windows. Well, most of the people who are at this event are in either RVs, vans, or buses, or schoolies. And I'm in an xTerra, so either I coop myself up in this 12-foot area, or I set up as if I normally would whenever I'm on BLM land or boondocking, basically. And so I've got an extension tent on the back, which opens my hatch and basically leaves a screen for protection. Well, that definitely doesn't protect you from this sand. In fact, I've actually been sneezing and coughing, bothered, labored breathing a little because of the amount of dirt that I'm breathing in. So suffice it to say that this is definitely not a place that I would consider staying on a regular basis. Now, the BLM land that I stayed in the night before was exactly the same, and it is something that I would consider as I'm traveling through and I need a place to stay for the night, I can swing in, primarily because there wouldn't be the number of vehicles that are at this current location. Hundreds of vehicles, and many of them even came with chase vehicles. So they leave their big rig there, and they're driving their chase vehicles out. Well, if they want to go to lunch, they'll drive out. If they want to go to dinner, they drive out. If they want to go sightsee or take pictures of the area or whatever, they drive out, and in and out, and in and out, and in and out. And the location where I was parked was basically right at the entrance, because it was just a small single cut that they set up. And under normal circumstances, whether it's caliche or if it was paved, that would be a perfect location. But caught a brunt of the traffic. I was able to stay in that location for 3 nights. Definitely moving tonight. Definitely going to find a different place. In fact, I'm considering not even going back to that venue tonight, because there's nothing really going on that I am that interested in seeing. There's a seminar at 2 o'clock that I want to attend, but after that, the evening is mine. So that being the case, I could probably just head out and find another location, even if it is similar. Again, it will just not have the same traffic. And the irony is that on this trip, on the way here, I stayed in what I would consider an absolutely perfect location under any circumstances. Well, with the exception of a massive flood, because it was Rio Verde, and it was about a third of the way up the mountain, and the river itself is in a gorge. It's the Rio Grande River in the gorge, and it is absolutely perfect. In fact, that's on the previous video, or an upcoming video, depending on how I'm releasing these videos. But it is treed completely. Canopy. You actually drive up into the campsite from the river road, kind of meander up into the hills, and then into the campsite. And again, it's canopy, tree covered, and the wind was blowing through the gorge the whole time. So you had a steady wind throughout the night, and of course the temperature was perfect too. It's Rio Verde, just southwest of Taos, New Mexico. And I pinned it. I'm absolutely going to go back. And if I think because I believe that the most that you can stay on the BLM land there is 14 days. I wouldn't be able to get 14 days worth of provisions in the xTerra, but I can tell you one thing. In the very near future, when I have an opportunity, I am going to provision for at least 5 or 6 days and hit that spot, because I can walk down and fall into the river. I can wander through the hills. There are trails all over. Right behind the campsite, going up the mountain, was a trail. It was a stepped trail, rocky stepped trail, but absolutely perfect. So again, I just found it kind of interesting that I had the opportunity to stay in what I would consider right now my favorite location. And as I'm traveling over the years, I'm certain that I'm going to find locations that I like better. But right now, that's it. And again, interesting that I was able to stay in what I would consider a perfect location, and then within 2 days in a location that is, man, I'm trying to be nice, less than ideal. Far less than ideal. In fact, not even on the scale of ideal. You have ideal, and then you have another scale that's not ideal, and it's on that scale. I think I'll leave it at that.
Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know, if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down down. I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down.
All the best, always.